This match is getting underway. Unnamed, they're no more than 30 ping. Guys, take it away.
So, moving into the ban phase of course, I'm going to see an Ash ban come out. Something that we've seen a lot more of recently, and no surprise when going up against a fragging team. We're going to have the Glaz banned out as well. Can be very, very powerful on this map. So, moving on to defender bans now. We're going to see 30 ping coming out with the first defender ban, and that will be Mirror. Not too much of a surprise on Coastline.
Well, I think we can certainly have a big talking point about the Ash. That is solely to nerf someone like Capcan. We've seen Ash in the past being banned out against players specifically. Of course, we have to say Team Empire. They're possibly, I think, the only team that we know that Ash has always been banned out against them, simply because Joystick is that good. And then you look at Valkyrie as well being banned away. That's going to be a lot of intel being off the board, which I'm sure both teams probably could have used with. And even Unnamed, they're on the defense first, and they've kind of shot themselves in the foot. Those Valkyrie cameras are very strong, but at the same time, this is Coastline, where the attackers rule the roost. You look at what operators you now have available after those two bans. You have Montagna, you have Ying, you have Blackbeard. You have so many massive threats that you really don't want to deal with. And that's simply because there's too many good operators that are good in this map, and because you don't necessarily need hard breach either.
Absolutely. So we're going to see round number 1 is going to take us to Hooker, and no surprise to see, well, a little bit of a surprise to see Pulse taken out of the lineup in favour of Echo. I'd have maybe brought both. Pulse can be very, very powerful if you can keep him alive down in Sunrise. The entire floor, as you can see, a fantastic view of it there. All wooden floor, so, you know, the plant denial from down in Blue Bar and Sunrise is absolutely ridiculous with Pulse. So a little bit of a surprise to see him 6 picked out, but that being said, Echo equally powerful if you can keep him hidden away and alive into that late round. That Yokai drone just becomes so powerful with that instantaneous disruption of any plant, and you can even combine the two of them for even more disruptions. So we're going to see a reasonably familiar setup here. We've got Meech just opening up the wall from Hooker through to Billiards for a rotation. We're going to see Tank Ninjas just setting up some goo mines on the aquarium side to slow down a push from there, I think. And honestly, I think this is just going to be a battle of the frags, but I'm surprised to not see more players on the roam here. We've got Tank Ninjas just sort of moving on to Cool Vibe Stairs. Sherney getting an early kill onto Cactus there, so that's going to take the Maestro off the board. How about that one, Demo?
That's a big kill. That means that those Maestro cameras are essentially null and void. They cannot be used to fire off those lasers. Sometimes we've seen, I'm sure it's probably happened to everybody, where you've placed down a Maestro camera and you didn't turn it what direction you wanted to be pointing, and then you die. And then it's just stuck in a position that doesn't really give you any intel. So that is something that does happen quite often. We don't know if that's going to be the case for Unnamed. They still do have an operator like Echo who does fill that same role as a Maestro, but does have more hard denial compared to the Maestro. Looking at no more than 30 ping, they do have a very strong mix of soft destruction. You know, they have Sophia, they have Buck, they have Sledge, even the Jackal with a shotgun. A lot of ways that they can really uproot this defense. They have frag grenades, they have 2 sets of it as well. Capcan will find Kendrew as a very long angle being held. Wow, that's a very hard shot to hit just through the wall. Sees the clip of him and will land the shots.
Capcan being allowed to just remain on that single window, and how about that nade from Madman? He's a player that we picked out before this match started. In comes a second nade. I don't think that'll find a target, but his skeleton key certainly will. That's 2 kills in quick succession for the Buck, and Madman is doing exactly what we've seen from him before. He nearly gets the final kill onto Meads, but he will put the shotgun to work. It is not enough though, as Capcan moves in and just finishes things off. A very, very good late flurry there from Ping just to get in and get that first round. Madman really firing things up. It's something we've seen from him before, and I tell you what, if that is a sign of things to come, this could be a long night for Unnamed.
Well, Ping coming in all guns swinging, and that just falls under the same format that Coastline has with attackers. They love the attackers. Coastline is just, it fits it so well. Its mixture of soft destructibility really fills in the attackers. You can go below with the buck, you can go below with the nades. There's just too many things that defenders have to worry about. The ADSs can only eat up so much before they run out of steam, and then it's a simple frag grenade coming in. Looking at Ping, they're going to be sticking with a similar lineup. They have run the Capitao this time. Possibly they want to try and go for more of a standard execute where they smoke off certain areas, they try and fire arrow off certain areas. More than likely, I think Capcan should be placed on an area like Double Window, where you have a good coverage, where you can place it behind the bar, possibly try and nick a kill onto an anchor being stationed there. There's a lot of possibilities really with that crossbow and the asphyxiating bolts. Unnamed, they have decided to go with still that ACOG lineup. They have the dot being in as well, and Kendrew, you know, my man Kendrew, let's talk about him. He is the only Challenge League player that we have inside of the Premiership until we possibly see some new teams join the edition whenever those playoffs do happen, which is coming up very, very soon as well. So Kendrew, you know, he has the experience. He's been in Challenge League, I think, 4 times in a row, if I'm not mistaken, so he has the capability. And again, his team was very close last season in getting Pro League, so there's a lot of possibilities there for Kendrew showing up. And it's more, I believe, just a bit of an aim training session for Kendrew tonight.
Yeah, I think so far tonight, this is the first time that we've seen a team go back to a site that they've just lost on defence. I could well be wrong with that, but it doesn't strike that we've seen it yet. So it's a nice use of the sort of 6 consecutive defending rounds just to take that direct variation. Early shots coming in there, and a great kill from Astro onto Cactus just to fire things up. That was a fantastic angle that he held, just using that hole and just keeping himself firing, knowing that the kill was there if he continued through. Great plays, and that is once again just going to give Ping that man advantage. I think one of the problems that Unnamed came across last time was they just didn't hold on to other areas of the map quite enough. They gave up too much map control. Capcan was allowed to just stay on that single window. A second kill for Astro into sight. Kendrew being taken out, and those breached holes just being put to good use. Tank does manage to get one back for Unnamed, just on the roam with Jaeger, but he's moving back towards sight now that they're down to 3 men. Capcan going to start working from that deck area just to try and put some pressure into sight. But back to what I was saying, Capcan last time was Pro-Yo picking a kill up as well onto Snooken with the shotgun. So that is going to be the Jackal secondary put to excellent use, and we now 4 versus 2, 4 versus 1 as Madman moves in and gets a kill onto Tank Ninjas. And I tell you what, Ping are looking like a great outfit so far. Madman with his second double kill there. 1 last round and 1 this round. Whew, this could be over quickly at this rate.
Team of fraggers. Like I said, that's really the scary thing about Ping, is that they have these great slayers. They have Madman, who we know has been, decorated with a Prem trophy because of his fragging potentiability. Potentiability? Is that a word?
I'm absolutely certain that it's not.
I don't even know what word I'm trying to say.
I don't doubt that for a second.
Can we make that a word? That sounds like a word to me.
I think it's sort of a, I don't know if you've watched How I Met Your Mother, it's sort of a Barney Stinson word, is that one?
I have watched How I Met Your Mother.
Potentiability.
Yes, I think you're right about that one. But yeah, the fragging potential, we'll just stick with that word since,
I think
according to Oxford, it's an actual word. So I don't know, that's what production says to me, but who really believes production these days? Not a lot of us.
Moving into round number 3 then, what can Unnamed do to slow things down? They're going to have to do something, because at this point Capcan and Madman are going crazy. Astro moved in to get a bit of the action as well, picking up a double kill last round. We're going to see a change of sight this time, which is not too much of a surprise considering how well Ping have attacked that twice in a row now. So we're going to see them down in the, I don't think you can really say a more popular site on Coastline, because apart from Penthouse recently, they all see a reasonable amount of play. Sunrise and Blue Bar, I think, is probably one of the higher picked rate sites at least. But without the mirror being able to play in Sunrise looking into blue bar, it can be a difficult hold. This is again going to come down to how they can play that roam game. They're going to have to keep some map control upstairs, and at the moment I'm not seeing again too many unnamed players up there, and 30 ping are certainly paying close attention to upstairs, and they are going to be moving in quickly. They are already in penthouse, starting to gain that control.
I know I brought up the point about how many operators are so good for Coastline, Blackbeard, Ying, the list goes on. Looking at ping, it's a very standard lineup that you'd see even if all those operators are banned anyway. You know, they're sticking with their roots. They have the mixture of soft destruction, and I'm loving the Jackal pick. I think Jackal is really this season has found his way into the meta just more than ever. I think it's because the meta has completely shifted into a much more aggressive defender meta, where you have people roaming about and talking about aggressive. Well, Kendrew picking up onto Pro. However, Pro did get one for his troubles, but straight away the refrags is there from Capcan. Tank will fall. 3 versus 3, a minute 30 to go. Meads will also be downstairs with the shotgun ready to go. I'm quite surprised that, you know, he isn't playing more aggressive with that smoke shotgun or the SMG-11. We know how deadly it can be, and really for this bomb site, I don't think smoke canisters are that big a necessity, especially whenever you know a team doesn't try and push in from Sunrise. You have hatches, you have courtyard to drop down through. There isn't, you know, a sole way that you can smoke, which we see from other bomb sites as well. Madman will be locked out by a castle barricade. Surely he could use a frag grenade, but instead has decided to turn tail and doesn't really know what he's going to do. But a minute to go, as you can see, Astro has opened up the castle for him, and also will try and find a head on to Meads, but he does squirm away, and this is where Buck and Sledge can start doing a bit of work. But still, 50 seconds to go. Everything is looking good for Unnamed.
Absolutely, they've just decided to fall back to site. They had the hatches opened up to allow them to rotate back. Now, Ping came in and got some really good map control early doors. They got themselves into penthouse, started to take that control upstairs. And I like what Unnamed did. They got a couple of players up there. Kendrew just moved through and started to get those refrags and just brought it back to 3 versus 3. I'm not sure if they just dipped a little bit too early. They did get Jackal off the board, which was fantastic for them, because it means they're not going to be getting pinged downstairs by him, just trying to get the shots through the soft wall there, but he will have moved away from the hard ping. Here comes the drop, and Kendrew's waiting for it. Takes Capcan, gets a second onto Madman. That's his 3rd overall, so that now leaves Astro in a 1 versus 3. It's a simple task for Meads to pick up the kill with the shotgun. He will have heard him coming from a mile away when he breached through the door. 1 shot, 2 shots, and it is all over. First round that Unnamed have managed to claim, and I really like the transition between styles there. They allowed some upstairs control initially for 30 ping, but I think it was essential that they actually went and took that back, because with a Sledge and a Buck on the board, as you said, a lot of soft destructibility there. Getting upstairs and opening up that floor would have been very, very dangerous to allow them to do that for the whole round. As it was, they got up there, and I think the fact that they got the couple of kills, yes, they rotated back to site, but then, if you notice, there was a couple of times, I think Madman did it particularly, where they were taking their attention away and looking towards Cool Vibe stairs. So the fact that they've already rotated upstairs once and got a couple of kills up there just puts the magnifying glass on that flank watch then, and that takes the attention from the vertical attack. So I don't think at that point Unnamed had any intention of going back upstairs, but it's still just taking Ping's eye off the ball, and all they had to do then was wait for the drops, which they did. Great plays from Unnamed.
I can kind of see Ping having a bit of an Empire essence about them. You know, looking at them playing, they pick the same 5 operators, they push the exact same way, which is upstairs and try and do work with the soft destruction, and then they finally try and execute. That's very similar to what Empire does.
Yeah, it's just a step-by-step process. You know, step 1, as you say, get upstairs. Step 2, get control. 3, open up. 4, execute. And like you say, Empire have seen a lot of success with it, and I think it is, you know, it can be an absolutely brutal method, but Unnamed finding a perfect strategy to work against it there, just by using those rotations. And Coastline is a great map to do that. There's 2 sets of stairs, which isn't always the best. We've got maps like Consulate, where there's 3 sets of staircases, and we see a much sort of increased roam game there. But because the 2 staircases on Coastline are so far apart, having a flank watch on both of them means you can only really apply one of those people to site quickly, because the other one tends to be at the other corner of the map from the site. So one of the staircases will quite often be neglected on coastline. So rotations are possible, and Unnamed have made very, very good use of them there. So we're going to see a kitchen defense now in round number 4, and we are almost a minute into the round, and we've still got 5 on each side.
This is where I think that no more than 30 ping you struggle is that initial room push. They take quite a while to get set up, and then that hinders them inside of the late game whenever they have to kind of rush things a little bit. Capcom can start trying to put a bit of work in here with the Sophia. Still has those lifelines available. First Blood will go in favor of no more than 30 ping, as Madman will be there. Sophia charge will mean that we're going to see Snookin scurry away downstairs, and that does forfeit the upstairs control, but there's going to be one lurking, and Capcan, he will find him. Kendry was trying to play just sneakily there inside a corridor, but it doesn't go his way, as Sophia will catch him out by surprise. And this is pretty much like it happened last time. They do the room clear out, they come in, they take control of VIP and Penthouse, they get the sledge, they get the buck in, they start ripping up all of these different anchor positions, and then one by one, surely Unnamed will fall. Maid's still alive and well, has those toxic babes, and a minute to go. The more time that no more than 30 ping wastes, that's a great pick by Maid's that gets him straight back into the match. Madman eliminated as well, who we know can certainly frag out with that C8 as well. Snookin inside a courtyard, trying to hold the angles, but how long can he hold them?
Ping with great top floor control, as you say, but moving into the last 45 seconds, how are they going to make that pay dividends? They haven't got a pick from upstairs yet. Unnamed just happy to hold their locations here, fight the fights as they come to them, but as we can see, somebody now moving down onto kitchen single window is going to force Tank Ninjas just to rotate, but with 28 seconds remaining, they really do need to start thinking about sight and how they are going to execute, because Unnamed are pretty happy to just keep themselves dug in here. Oh, very unfortunate there for Meads on the smoke. His smoke just catching on that object on the desk and not quite hitting the door. Pro will get the kill onto Snookin, and this is where the pressure will start to build. Astro gets the kill onto Meads. Tank will turn around and get the kill onto Epsilon, but unfortunately 4 versus 1. Proyo will manage to finish things off, and that's a good round from Ping. I wasn't sure exactly how that was going to go, but I think that just shows the difference there. Kendry got picked off earlier in that round, and if you remember from the previous round, very similar happened. Ping went in, got upstairs control, and it was Kendry who took the initiative to take the fight back upstairs, rotate, and he got 2 kills up there and brought it back to 3 versus 3. This time Kendry was already off the board. None of the players remaining on Unnamed took that initiative to get themselves upstairs and challenge, and I think it was just too long an amount of time to leave 5 men upstairs and hope to close out the round.
We move into our kitchen and service entrance once more for the players of Unnamed, and I'm pretty sure at this stage they just want the defense to be over and done with. Even though I know that you pointed out, Ace, that, yeah, coastline, looking at it statistically, it is the most balanced in terms of attackers win and defenders win, but I still think that attackers have so much more favorability. I just think it is. It's just, there's too many operators that are too good for this map. You can't ban all of them unless there's going to be more bans added, which we don't know if that's going to be the case. You know, that if you add an extra 2 bans into that, I don't think it's the right time for Siege yet. We haven't even hit the 50 mark yet.
No, I'd agree with you on that. I think increasing the bans there is just going to allow too many or important operators off the board until we've got that increased variety, more hard breaches, for example. Yeah. It's just going to be a little bit too much to take out of the pool. I think the thing with Coastline is there's just so much of that floor upstairs is destructible. If you look at every major room there, you've got theatre, you've got penthouse, you've got VIP, hooker, billiards, aquarium. Every single one of those has got a destructible floor. So when you're trying to defend a downstairs objective, as you say, you get sledge, you get buck, you get upstairs and you open it up, and that's exactly what we're seeing here so far. Unfortunately, Unnamed not having too much success on the roam. I think if they could just get a little bit more sort of hassle on those flanks and stop them being able to focus on the vertical game, they might have a little bit more joy, but at the minute, Ping doing a very, very good job. As you said, they're all fraggers, doing a great job of closing that down, Snook and opening things up with a first kill onto Capcom.
Let's not forget, this man's past Pro League for many, many seasons. He has the capability. Of course, we did see him get pushed away from the Chaos roster. who is now actually looking pretty decent for themselves, but Snookin has found his way into our humble abode of our Premiership. And at the moment, he's with a strong team. We know how good Unnamed can be. And Kendra, he finds one. Can he find another? Oh, just barely misses the shots onto Astro. But will still try and take the fight, and he wins it as well. Can he find any more? No, he decides to rotate back with the safety of Snookin and Tank. Cactus on the dock. I'm surprised he isn't rotating upstairs to try and help and stem up some of his teammates. Madman still on the roof as well. Shermie, not a headshot. What?
Not too sure. I think definitely questions need to be asked there, but they're going to see quite a hefty drop just to get back onto site here, which I think is a good choice here. 5 versus 2. Kendra just dies to Madman as he tries to get back to site, but that's not the worst loss in the world. They've had the roam upstairs. They've taken 3 operators out, and that leaves us now in a 4 versus 2. 1 minute to go, and it is not going to be an easy job. Shermie moving through, and Cactus will have absolutely no idea that he's there. The second man misses him as well and gets himself stuck into security. They've got cams on him, they've got operators. Shermie's like the invisible man just moving through the team. He was unlucky not to get a second kill there.
What was that? That should have been a dead Shermie in that scenario. I seen the 2 of them. I knew he was going to get at least 1, but straight away the refrag should have been there. I have no idea the outcome of events that just occurred, but still 20 seconds to go. Time is heavily against them. None of them are even near to the bomb site as well. Madman's going to have to pull out all the stops. Shermie still thinks he's trying to hunt somebody in office with 10 seconds to go. He has to rotate in towards blue bar, and one will be lurking there. Misses all of the shots as well. Madman finds Snookin. Shotgun comes out, and he will also find the mute. It comes down to Meads. The plant has to come in, and he will stick it. This is down to Meads, a 1 versus 2, but the angle's going to be held by Madman, and somehow, somewhere, we have just seen no more than 30 ping pick up. I don't even know what to call that round.
2 versus 4. Shermie just moving invisibly at will, it would appear. As you say, gets that first kill, which is to be expected. He moves down and he catches somebody from behind. But how can the second operator not move in and get that kill? There wasn't even shots fired, I don't think. He literally just ran past him and into security, and then failed to move back and challenge him. Allowed Shermie to rotate back upstairs, get himself out, and live to fight another day, which is exactly what he did. And him and Madman just managed to pair up, start getting that diffuser down with 1 second to go to extend the clock. Meads didn't have too much of a choice there. He finds himself 1 versus 2. I think he just has to hide there and hope they don't have the diffuser, hope that the clock runs out. But at that point, he then moves to challenge, as you know, it then flips and he becomes the attacker when the diffuser goes down. He has to retake, and Buck led down in kitchen, and a nice easy finish. I think it's called a throw demo.
I'm a broken man. I have no words. Like, this is something that happened quite a bit last season, and the amount of times, you know, I've just stood here and figured, what in the world? I'm just getting PTSD flashbacks now. That's all I'm getting, is just Vietnam gunfire in the background. That's all I hear right now.
I can imagine. So, looking into round number 6 now. We're going back to Sunrise. Now, this is the only site that Unnamed have won. It did come down to some great rotations from Kendra to move upstairs and pick up a couple of kills, bringing it. They were 5 versus 3 at that point, and Kendra managed to even it up to 3 versus 3. So I think that's the first thing Unnamed need to avoid, is getting themselves into a sort of a man disadvantage situation like that. They need to just keep themselves on top, keep calm, and just hold that upstairs control for as long as they can. We can see Kendra working upstairs in Hooker there. He's got the hatch open, ready to drop if needed. It looks like Madman is poised, ready to follow into Penthouse along with 2 others. Ping are so quick at moving in and surrounding these roamers, and that is something that Unnamed just haven't been able to handle here. The drone has got Kendra, he's had to drop, so that already looks to me like good upstairs control in favour of Ping.
Once again, and just you can see like a sewer of rats swarming the upstairs, and this is just typical no more than 30 ping. They have the aggressiveness, they have Capcan and Madman, who are just pretty much untouchable, especially Madman. He's really stepped up his game on that C8. We've seen Buckmains do even more stuff than Ash sometimes as well. And, you know, Ash isn't even here, and it hasn't affected 30 ping whatsoever. Imagine if we had Capcom on Ash as well.
Madman just looking at that goo mine there. I think I don't know why he was studying that quite so closely. Maybe just didn't want to put the gunshot in and give his location away. I don't think he necessarily knew.
That's what he was doing.
Yeah, I think he just didn't know that the room was clear at that point. So yeah, great decision from Madman. As you say, he's having an absolutely belting game so far. He's sort of untouchable at the minute. But Shermie just moving around now to start putting pressure directly onto site. He's going to move in from that pool entrance, but he will be spotted, and Meads will hear him knocking out the barricade. Step out, get the kill, and a second for Meads onto Madman. Two important operators. Meads getting his revenge for the last round there and just getting Shermie and Madman, who managed to finish him off. Capcan will get one back, but that will still leave Unnamed in the man advantage at 4 versus 3 coming into the last 45 seconds. And Ping are going to have to rethink what they're doing here, because they've lost the power of Buck upstairs. They've still got Astro on the sledge, but it's getting to that point of the round where they need to start thinking about the execution and how exactly they're going to approach site.
Will be the down coming in from Capcan. Astro trying his best to fight. No, the Elliot will not win the gunfights against the UMP. Another down as well. And that's going to be it. Capcan has to go for the final stand, but will get jumped out on by Meads himself with the shotgun. And well, once again, that Blue Barn Sunrise proven to be a pesky bomb site for the likes of Ping. So that does leave us then with the halftime switch. It's going to be 4 rounds to 2 and all in favor of the defenders in this scenario. But this is where we're going to see the attacks come to Unnamed. They have so many toys to play with. Let's see what they're going to bring.
For sure, and they've also got, as you said, some fantastic fraggers on that team. So is this, you know, are we going to see the reverse of what's just happened there? We've seen a frag-heavy team come in on the attack and just, you know, clear out the top floor and just sort of dominate there. Meads having a great round last round. They tried to push directly onto site. Shermie and Madman tried to create a pinch from single window and from pool entrance. Meads was not having any of that and managed to get in with a great double kill just to slow things down, put the focus on upstairs. And I think Ping very quickly realised that the upstairs control that they had with 3 of them there wasn't really worth too much against 5 of Unnamed downstairs. So they managed to close that out very well. Round number 7 then, as you say, we've gone past the switch. Unnamed will be attacking, and they will be attacking Sunrise and Blue Bar. Now, this is the only objective that we've seen Unnamed defend successfully. They've defended it successfully twice. Is that going to translate to them having a good idea how to attack it?
I would like to think that they're not really expecting that Blue Bar, simply because they don't have that same soft destruction. They have no sledge, they have no buck, not even a jackal with a shotgun. They don't have anything there to rip up those floors. Maybe they're going to use Sophia charges. I don't really think that would be the best. More than likely because they are going for Doka bait. Look, that just sums up Ping. You know, they're running out, they're trying to get aggressive, just trying to frag out. But back to the Doka bait. I completely forgot about her. I was rattling off, you know, really strong operators in this particular map. Doka bait is such another good pick. You know, that universal factor, great gun as well. 2-speed, has smoke grenades. A lot of things going for Doka bait. You've seen the rise of her inside of Pro League. She's been banned out quite a lot as well. I believe she's in the top 5 most banned attackers. That has to stand for something as well. And having that let through, the list goes on. The list really does go on.
It does indeed. So we're going to see some early aggression from Ping, as you said, with Shermie running out and getting plenty of hit points taken off Snooken. It's not always about getting the kills, it's just about getting to that point where now anybody can pretty much get into a face-to-face challenge with Snooken, and you would have to expect them to come out on top. All they need to land is 1 bullet. So he's going to move upstairs, and as you quite rightly predicted, Demo, he's going to be using that gadget just to open up the floor a little bit. Proyo with the first kill onto Kendrew though, and that could be a big one. followed up with another one from Astro. Tank getting one back for his side onto Shermie, so that's going to leave us 4 versus 3. But I think pretty much any vertical breaching options have now been removed. Cactus gets into a fight with Proyo and will come out on top, but will take some damage for the pleasure. So that's going to leave us 3 versus 3 now. And the pressure is going to have to come direct to site. There's no choice for breaching charger, but Tank gets a kill onto Astro. So that's now going to have swung the man count completely. The last 3 kills going in favour of Unnamed. And Madman and Capcan here, arguably 2 great fraggers, are going to have to stop the tide. They've got themselves wedged tight into sight, and it is not going to be easy to challenge them from here.
You can still see that Unnamed, they have the same, I think, adaptability factor that they still possess. Madman with another aggressive peek will find Meads, and that's going to be Diffuser right at his feet. You can see into 2 versus 2. The other 2 players will be located in towards the kitchen and in towards the courtyard. Actually rotates in towards office. So both of them are going to be round about the same area, available for refrags. Capcan will see the Dokkaebi, and will this actually down her? Yes, it will. It goes into a 1 versus 2 essentially, because that Dokkaebi will not be picked, and an easy cleanup from Capcan. And no more than 30 ping is on an absolute tear. That Maestro camera on the palm tree just completely caught the Dokkaebi by surprise. And that has been just enough to see them for yet another round and 1 step closer. Just 1 more round to at least a draw.
Great use of the Maestro there. I think that's a fantastic example of why we're seeing such a banning rate for Maestro. I'm surprised that we haven't seen him banned out tonight as of yet. We generally do, and that just goes to show you've got Dokkaebi moving in there. She's on low HP, and without putting himself, I know he has to come out of his first person view, so there is some risk for Maestro, but without putting himself in any direct danger, he gets the down there, and that changes it from a 2 versus 2 to a 2 versus 1 situation. And all of a sudden, you know, I mean, let's not take it away from them. Madman and Capcan have done a great job there. They've recognised that the tide was heavily against them at that point. They've lost a number of men quickly, and they've gone from man advantage to actually, you know, being the last 2 alive against 3. They've holed up on site, they've kept themselves some good angles, they've dropped the diffuser in pool entrance, and then they've just played their angles. They've not tried to push for the kills, they've done exactly what they needed to, and that's something the defenders, you need to realise in Siege sometimes, and need to remember, is the clock is on their side. They don't have to do anything. At the end of the day, it's the attackers initially that have to make something happen, and Ping have just taken great advantage of that fact there.
What's their kills? Can we see their kills? Wow. That's pretty good, for especially with 7 rounds, whenever we know that everybody in that roster can frag.
Yep, 16 between 2 and 7 rounds. That's
really strong.
So moving into round number 8 then, as you said, Demo, this one will guarantee Ping a draw, so I'm sure they're going to be keen to move in and get this one done. If they can get a 7-2, then what a fantastic start that will be. And I know, you know, we've already seen quite a few teams play so far, but this Madman Capcan duo for me is really starting to look like something that could be dangerous throughout the length of this season and could be a decisive factor. We've got Madman again opening things up with the kill onto Kendrew. You know, we've talked about Kendrew's quality. We've seen him be first off the board a few times. Capcan, how could it get better for the example that I was trying to prove? Madman and Capcan coming out with the first 2 kills there without losing any HP between them, and that now leaves them 5 versus 3 with 5 full strength operators. Look how confident they're getting now, even willing to start those runouts with a minute gone. They're quite happy to take the fight to Unnamed.
Yeah, just the aggression, the confidence. Ping know that they can take gunfights all day long from Unnamed, and looking at it, I just can't wait to see Wind and Rain versus Ping at this stage.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, you've got like the 2 completely different styles there. You've got the do anything you can, just go in and frag style of Ping, and I think they're getting away with that because they're playing against another potentially aggressive, sort of not disorganised but just less structured team, whereas Wind and Rain, as we saw, managed to punish Vex when they were trying that because they already had the crossfires set up, they had the trades in place, they were ready to do that. And I think you're right there. I think the Wind and Rain Ping game at this point is looking like an absolute banger. We've got Proyo coming in with the kill onto Snookum, but Meads will get one back for Unnamed, so that's going to bring us to 4 versus 2. The Dokkaebi call coming in in now, but I'd be honest, I really can't see those Dockerby calls, as disruptive as they can be, just being the difference here. We've got 4 versus 2, and all Ping really need to do at this point is just hold their angles and let Unnamed move into their crosshairs, which is, at the minute, what it appears they are doing.
So the phone call will come in, and Meads will also sprint through the barbed wire, but one to his immediate hard left, lying down, and the Gooman will also go off, and that will be Prio finding Meads, and Cactus does have a refrag, a double for him, a 2 versus 1, 25 seconds, has the diffuser, so he could go for the plant, looks away from the angle, and what a peek from Kapkan, demolishes Cactus, and that will be the 6 rounds that Ping needs to at least secure themselves the draw. But I don't think they want a draw. They want all points from this as they move into the potential final round of this match.
I think if Unnamed want to get anything from this, we're going to have to see an upstairs site from them. They've tried both downstairs, Sunrise and Kitchen, and just had no joy whatsoever. With Madman and Kapkan playing like they are, 19 kills now for only 8 deaths, it's always going to be difficult. And, you know, I'm not going to start criticising site choice and things like that, because it just doesn't come down to that. At the end of the day, it's a little bit out of the hands of Unnamed here. We've got 2 players really going off there, and very, very difficult to play against that. But, you know, I'm glad to see just changing things up, and let's see what they can do.
So once again, we're, you know, seeing the aggressiveness. Kapkan on the dock, has the ACOG, MP5 headshot machine. I'm quite curious to see what spawn kill he's going to go for, because there's multiples on coastline. You have that double one on the aquarium, try and spawn kill ruins. You can just spawn kill double window, and more importantly, the Canadian window as well. You can try and spawn peek that, which is infamous for that 6 invitational final Evil Geniuses versus Penta, where he did spawn killed Shate, I believe it was, in that penultimate round in that incredible series. So certainly there's a couple of options here for Kapkan. One option gone, because that's going to be castled off as well in that double window. I don't really think he's going to go for the spawn kill, try to play more passive, more aggressive. At this stage, they don't need to play more aggressive. Just sit back, hold the angles. You have such a safety net. Even if you lose the next 3 rounds, you still have a chance of taking all 3 points. But they want to try and secure it here and there.
Madman certainly close to that pool entrance, it seems, and I think he's going to be listening out for anybody approaching now. Meads is going to be doing so as he goes onto the stairs. I think he does have somebody watching that run out. Madman's just going to hold an angle at the moment. If Meads moves down and punches this barricade, he's going to get more than he bargains for, I think. But Madman just holding tight and Meads moving away, so that's not going to come together. Kapkan and Shermy just holding upstairs on site there. Quite a few roamers knocking about, which is not too much of a surprise. We've got Astro on Cool Vibes stairs, Proyo with him, so that's just going to allow them sort of free movement up and down between the different areas, so they can support site or support the roamers depending on where the push comes from. Great kill from Shermy there onto Tank on the aquarium balcony, and he hears one downstairs, so he knows that they're potentially going to try and push into office as well. It just seems like it's getting to that point. We've all been there in Siege. You know exactly how it feels, where just nothing you do goes right. Meads gets a good kill onto Proyo though. Is that going to fire up his team? It takes the mute off the board. His utility is largely going to be in play at this point, so not a huge loss for Ping here. He does have some, you know, good utility, as you've been saying, Nitro and the great shotgun, but not the end of the world. The Dockerby call coming in then, and we 4 versus 4 coming into a minute and a half.
Kapkan has all of his utility available, has those stim pistols, can use on his team or on himself. Astro will find Meads, but straight away the refrag's coming hefty. Snookin will find one before getting refragged himself by Kapkan, and it's down to Kendrew and down to Cactus. Dockerby phone call comes off, that's not going to save him from the MP5 being established by Kapkan. Kendrew, 1 versus 3. What can he do? He finds one, starts getting tagged from behind, but no, Astro will put it to bed. And no more than 30 Ping will take their first win of their Premiership campaign against 3rd place Unnamed.
Fantastic players there. That was completely different match to, you know, to ones that we've seen so far. I think it's the first real runaway. I know Secret, you know, Secret was to be expected really, and they did have some easy kills, but I felt like even they were challenged a little bit more, to be honest, than 30 Ping were there. They really did have a field day.
Yeah, we did assume that it would be a much closer affair, but with that incident with Shermie and how he didn't get traded off, this man was having a nervous breakdown during that instant, and it was quite a rare feat to see, I think.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
You have to, mate. No? Completely no. Jeez. It is quite a hard thing to talk about because, yeah, like, how on earth did the trade not happen?
I really don't know how that happens in that situation. It's like I say, it was more the second man coming in. I'd have to rewatch it, but I'm 99% certain that shots were not even fired onto Shermie at that point. He just ran past him and into security. I really do not understand how that happens.
Yeah, we'll have to double check on this because I assume we will see it in this replay and just try and actually find out what happened. Maybe we see it twice. It could be not what we expected, but it's hard to say that he didn't just run across, and maybe we'll see that in a second, don't we?
Yeah, I think that looking at the way Ping have established themselves, this is their first time out. I'm sure Unnamed had no idea what they were expecting. But this is where I start to worry for Ping, because teams are going to look at them. And like we've talked about, I would imagine Wind and Rain. This is the moment which I think that was the start of me losing my mind. But I think looking at Ping, I think teams will counter them very quickly. I think they'll be shut down extremely well by Wind and Rain whenever they look at this VOD, they review this. They have the tools to shut down everything that is aggressiveness. We've seen them do that against Vexed. I'm sure they'll have their way with no more than 30 Ping whenever they do get them.
Yeah, especially if they're a mixed team. Don't get me wrong, it's like you mentioned before, all a bunch of strong fraggers. Yeah. But sometimes that's not the case, especially against a structured team. But I just can't. I wish we could actually see your reaction at that point when Shermie ran across, because it was there was no words to describe it really to how you reacted.
He was absolutely devastated. I mean, to be fair, watching it back there, shots were fired, so there was at least a challenge there, but somebody's back is a huge target, especially from 6 feet away, and at this level, you can't be missing shots like that, and we've just seen exactly what happens when you do. You get punished.
I can't be the only one sitting here thinking, not like this. That's all I was thinking was...
Oh, no.
I
think even Twitch chat probably thought, what on earth is going on? So, like, I'm sure you're not the only one, which is like...
I wouldn't like to think, if not, then this entire community has lost their heads.
Well, you might think it's okay. I knew it, I just thought I'd try him a little bit. But